Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 11.
He was interested in what makes terrible people do terrible things.
Mass shootings?
Yeah. And he knew that they were bad, and he knew that they were horrific. And he wanted to know what led a person to do those things.
But never in a, sounds like, scary way to you, like he wanted to replicate that.
No. I wouldn't have dated him if he wanted to replicate it.
We're learning more about the gunman who carried out a deadly shooting rampage in Dayton, Ohio over the weekend. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NBC 16 News at 11. I'm Alexis Thrower. Police officers killed Connor Betts 30 seconds after he opened fire, but not before he killed 9 people, including his own sister. Authorities say Betts was obsessed with violence and mass shootings and had expressed a desire to be a mass shooter himself. For a glimpse into his mindset, CNN spoke with a woman who says she used to date Betts. Adelia Johnson says looking back, there may have been signs that he had a dark side.
He showed me the one video of the mass shooting on our first date. I'm not sure which shooting it was. I was drunk and it was at a loud bar, so I don't really remember the details. I think it's weird, but it wasn't a red flag, which I know is weird to a lot of people. But given the context of him being a psychology student and him being fascinated in the psychology of those things, that's what made it digestible.
As far as motive, investigators still don't know what drove Betts to carry out the deadly shooting rampage. In El Paso, Texas tonight, new details about the victims, the suspect, and survivors who made it out of the Walmart where 22 people were killed. More than a dozen people remain hospitalized, 2 of them critical. We get the latest from NBC's Miguel Almaguer.
Just a few miles from the crime scene, not far from where the tributes honor the victims, Jessica Garcia vividly remembers the massacre.
I started yelling for my kids. And I got up and I looked at my husband. I guess I still didn't know I was shot.
At Walmart with husband Guillermo and their 2 children, Garcia watched as some of the 22 victims lost their lives.
I remember closing my eyes because I didn't want to see and I was shaking. And when I opened my eyes, I saw him shoot a lady in the head.
After driving 10 hours, a law enforcement source says the gunman walked into the store, then back to his car to arm himself and opened fire on families.
Level one. I just saw people drop. And I was still standing, so I said, okay, I need to act like I'm hurt. And I threw myself on the floor.
Garcia says her husband, shot 3 times, nearly gave his life trying to save hers. But in the chaos, their children were missing.
I got up and I checked on my husband again. I pulled his shirt up to see where he was hit. I didn't see anything. And I kissed him on the forehead and said, I'm gonna go look for our kids.
She ran through the carnage, searching for her kids, then collapsing. Jessica had been shot in the leg.
I'm blessed, more than blessed.
Garcia was reunited with her children for the first time today, but tonight her husband remains in a coma, fighting for his life. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, El Paso.
Today, moms and dads took to the streets in front of the federal courthouse in Eugene, protesting gun violence and demanding gun safety laws. The group called Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America was organized by a mother after the Sandy Hook shooting. Since then, it has spread to a nationwide movement. The local organizer said the group's goal is to get the attention of lawmakers after so many mass shootings in America.
We had these mass shootings and we have continual mass shootings. I believe that gun violence is a public health issue and we have to do something to stop it, and we have to encourage legislators to take action.
The local chapter of Moms Demand Action said they are aware of a Guns, Gods, and Trump rally scheduled in downtown Eugene this Saturday. They said they would not be attending or participating in any counter-protest. At a time when we're seeing more shootings and school threats in our country, programs like Safe Oregon are being created. The goal of Safe Oregon is to prevent school safety threats from occurring. The program provides Oregon students and communities with a way to anonymously report potential threats.
They are our eyes and ears where we cannot be. And students are on social media, on private accounts and those kind of things that even parents can't see or don't have access to. They have secret lives that they're living, but their friends are able to see those things and are able to stop situations before they become tragic.
Safe Oregon tips can be submitted 24/7 year-round through 5 different reporting methods: the safeoregon.com website, text message, email, phone, or the mobile app. For more information, go to NBC16.com. On to our first look at weather. NBC 16's meteorologist Travis Knutson joins us now.
Quite a few clouds all across western Oregon today, as well as the coast, and that kept temperatures from warming up today. 83 degrees, the high in Eugene, Roseburg 84, seeing 60s on the coast. Places where the low clouds did not make an appearance: Medford seeing a high of 98 degrees, and of course the other side of the state where triple-digit heat was common. The next few days for us in western Oregon will see some low clouds, and as a result, cooler temperatures around the region. Outside right now, things pretty quiet for the moment, but tomorrow morning we do pick up the gray skies as we start off our Wednesday. Lows tonight in the upper 50s for many spots. Highs tomorrow not even as warm as where we were today, struggling to get to the 80-degree mark, and we're not done cooling down. I'll tell you how low the thermometer will go. That's coming up next.
Thank you so much, Travis. U.S. Ambassador to Russia John Huntsman Jr. has submitted his resignation, signaling the end of a 2-year stint during what he called a historically difficult time in relations between the two countries. Huntsman is planning to return to Utah amid speculation that he may again run for governor, said Salt Lake Chamber President Derek Miller, who served under him during his previous tenure. Huntsman, a Republican, left the Utah governor's office in 2009 when former President Barack Obama tapped him as ambassador to China. In 2017, President Donald Trump named him as ambassador to Russia as the U.S. investigated Moscow's meddling in the 2016 election. In a resignation letter dated yesterday and first obtained by the Salt Lake Tribune, Huntsman said he was honored by the trust Trump placed in him, quote, during this historically difficult period in bilateral relations that has included expulsions and forced departures of his staff. In the letter, Huntsman also urged the U.S. to hold Russia accountable for behavior that threatens American allies. He said he wants to leave to reconnect with his family and home responsibilities. Huntsman is expected to serve through October 3rd. California is President Trump's latest target in the fight to keep his tax returns private. Lawyers for Trump filed a lawsuit today challenging a state law requiring presidential candidates release their tax returns if they want to be on California's primary ballot. The lawsuit argues the restriction is unconstitutional and a violation of the First Amendment and is not a qualification required under the Constitution. California's Presidential Tax Transparency and Accountability Act was signed by Governor Gavin Newsom last week. Newsom issued a statement saying states can determine how its electors are chosen, and California is following the Constitution. Oregon's wine industry is booming, with economic impact up nearly 70% from 2016 to 2013. But the last legislative session left many Oregon wineries and vineyards divided. A series of bills were introduced by some state winemakers aiming to increase Oregon's wine standards and regulations. Most of them did not pass during the session, but it shows divisions between some of the state's wine regions on how to handle issues within the industry. Many wineries in the Willamette Valley say stricter standards could help fend off other states who they say sometimes produce Oregon wine to lesser standards. Regulations would protect the state's brand, but growers in the Southern Valley say some of the out-of-state wine grape buyers could become uncomfortable with changes, in turn losing their business. But all they're looking for is unity moving forward.
We're not going to go backwards. Or if anything, we're going to continue to move forward. How we do that is very important. We need to make sure that nobody gets left behind.
Visit our website at NBC16.com to hear from Southern Oregon wine grape growers who explain what's next for the industry to find a solution. A behind-the-scenes but very important service at the Lane County District Attorney's Office is looking for new help. That call for more volunteers is from the DA's Victim Service Division. NBC 16's Tom Adams talks to one of those volunteers who've been at it for 17 years.
Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on Earth.
Have you done anything like this before, a restraining order?
So said boxer Muhammad Ali about the spirit of volunteerism. Maybe he was talking about Cheris Krameray.
Do any of these apply down here, these boxes?
Cheris has more than 5,500 hours of time with the Lane County Victim Services Division.
This is over many years.
Service that started in 2002 and continues to this day.
Well, because it's a wonderful way to work with the community. It has been a constant learning process.
Caseloads are up, and the office is looking to expand its pool of volunteers. They serve as victim advocates and work with people to help them understand their rights in the court system.
So it could be from misdemeanors to major crimes, as clear as thefts, even our homicide cases.
Victim Services volunteers attend court hearings with crime victims to help them through the legal maze. Krameray's focus is helping victims of domestic abuse.
No one deserves to be abused, obviously. And so this is one of the ways the community provides some resources to help people.
And Paul points out you don't have to be a courthouse expert to apply.
That helps, but also I'm prepared to train them. I'll teach them everything they need to know.
Is that working?
And then you can join Cheris and others like her serving others. Reporting in downtown Eugene, I'm Tom Adams.
The application deadline is next week, August 14th. Selected volunteers who pass a criminal background check will get instructions and one-on-one training on the criminal justice system, victimology, and crisis intervention. Coming up next on NBC 16 News at 11, SpaceX launched a rocket from Cape Canaveral tonight. More on the out-of-this-world mission. Plus, we're giving you an exclusive look behind the scenes of the Broadway performance Wicked.
Find your new best friend. Help
C16 News at 11.
A rocket lifted off from Cape Canaveral tonight on a mission to put a new satellite into orbit. The SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket had a smooth takeoff. After 3 minutes of flight, the rocket released a communications satellite called the Amos-17 into the atmosphere. The Amos-17 is meant to increase connectivity to the African continent. This connectivity includes data services, broadband, and broadcast signals. The Falcon 9 rocket has been reused and recovered for multiple missions. SpaceX will not recover the rocket for any more future missions. A different communications device, the Amos-6, was destroyed in a pre-launch test explosion in 2016. That satellite cost SpaceX $200 million. There is a local production that has the Holt Center filled with viewers a couple times a week. Our Cassandra Gutierrez joins us now in the studio, and I heard it's quite an exclusive treat.
Alexis, I was lucky enough to score a behind-the-scenes tour of the Eugene's Wicked production, and let me tell you, it was quite amazing. Here are the details.
I think this is actually maybe one of the bubbles I rode like almost 10 years ago.
After a decade, Erin McKee is back to play the role of Glinda.
Which is really cool. It's so unique to get to come back to a show that you did a decade ago, and with all of the life experience and the ways you've changed.
Although a lot has changed, including being married now, she says she still feels excited before hitting the stage to play her character.
Oh, I mean, I just love that Glinda is so just herself. She's so silly and funny and charming, and I love that. I love that it's a role that I get to bring myself to.
And even though each individual character is different,
you don't want it to be this kind of robotic show. You want it to be a living, breathing organism that you create your own experience.
he tells me some main points remain the same, such as bullying, being different, and most of the costumes and stage props.
It's set in a timeless universe, and yet there are themes and certain parts of the show that seem to pop out based on current events that are happening.
Not only addressing real-life issues, but also serving as a gateway to viewers.
Whatever you're doing in your daily life, I mean, you walk into this theater and you see a giant dragon and you see a big map of Oz, and you know you're going to go somewhere different than Eugene for the next 2.5 hours.
In Evergreen, show performance not changing much over the years, but taking viewers to a new world, the Land of Oz.
If you haven't seen the show yet, you have a couple more chances to see it next week.
Oh my goodness, that looks like so much fun. And you actually have seen it already, right?
I've seen it and it was amazing. Those 2.5 hours went by. It felt like it was 10 minutes. I mean, the visual, props they have and non-stage performance was amazing.
And how was it? I know you actually got on the floating platform and you gave it a go out there. Were you nervous when you were on the floating platform that Glenda normally comes in on?
I was so nervous. Even hearing you say it right now, I'm feeling like I'm still kind of nervous from it. Yeah, that was I don't know how many feet high, but it was.
Oh my goodness.
It was over 30 feet, I believe. 34 feet, yeah.
My. Well, thank you so much, and that was an amazing piece. And coming up next on NBC 16 News at 11, Travis Knutson is going to give us a detail on the full forecast. But go ahead and give us a preview right now, Travis.
The morning started off gray around the region, and it took a while till about 1, 2 in the afternoon before the clouds cleared on out. We had that sunshine overhead. More clouds on the way and cooler temperatures. I'll tell you how much cooler coming up next.
Chief Meteorologist Travis Knutson.
The next few mornings, overcast starts to the day is expected, and those clouds will have a big impact on our temperatures as we move forward. In fact, here's a look at the satellite and radar loop earlier this afternoon, where most of the day the Willamette Valley, the Umpqua Valley under some low clouds, and the coast, well, sort of stuck under the clouds all day long today. And there's quite a bit of cloud cover over the Pacific Ocean, which continues to push its way onshore, meaning the next few days we'll see some gray skies for the coast, and each morning for the inland valleys will wake up gray as well. And sunshine shows up for the afternoon hours for those inland valleys, but it takes a little bit longer each and every day, and as a result, temperatures will not be as warm as we move forward. But here's what's going on, the broad picture. There's a high pressure center over the Four Corners area. You can see the clouds and the rain rotating around it in a clockwise fashion, and this southerly airflow is why the other side of the state saw some triple-digit heat. But western Oregon will be feeling the effects of this storm system out across the Pacific Ocean, and this is where our cooler air, as well as an opportunity for some rain later on this week, will come from. During the summertime, storms don't usually approach us from the southwest. That's usually more of a wintertime thing. But this particular storm system will approach Oregon from the southwest, and as you can see, there's some rain riding along with it. So moisture is headed into the state. We will certainly see some rain around the region, but the question is, will it be just a couple little raindrops, or will it be a higher amount, maybe a quarter of an inch of rain? And at this point, that answer is unclear. In a day or two, we'll probably have a better idea of how much rain we might see from this approaching storm, but something that can be said for certain is rain is likely to move in by the end of the week and early parts of the weekend. But here's a look at what's to come overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. This is 8 o'clock. You can see those low clouds starting the day off once again. The coast doesn't see much sunshine in the afternoon. This is 4 o'clock where those cloudy conditions are still seen on the coast, but sunshine for the Willamette Valley, sunshine for a good chunk of Douglas County, and then that kind of just repeats over again. For our Thursday, this is 8 o'clock in the morning, cloudy to start off the day. Clouds will linger even longer into the afternoon on Thursday, which means less sunshine, and that means temperatures not quite as warm as where we'll even be tomorrow. And tomorrow's temperatures, as you can see here, cooler than the low 80s we saw today. Crestwell picking up a high of 79 degrees on Wednesday. Junction City at about 80 degrees. Notai right around 76. Here's the extended forecast for the Eugene-Springfield area. Those temperatures continue to decline into Saturday, watching an opportunity for some rain, most likely Friday night into Saturday morning. Still unclear how much moisture is headed our way. We'll probably see at the very least a couple raindrops. On the coast, upper 60s to low 70s tomorrow. Winds from the northwest 0 to 5 miles per hour. Not a whole lot of sunshine for the coast for the next few days. There will be plenty more clouds and sunshine overhead. However, by the time we reach Sunday, we'll see a weather pattern shift. Winds will move in a different direction, a bit of an offshore airflow, and that sun will return to those coastal areas by next week. For the Umpqua Valley, upper 70s, really struggling to get to 80 degrees tomorrow. Canyonville might hit 81, but overwhelmingly, Douglas County will see high temperatures topping out in the upper 70s. The next few days, we'll see clouds in the morning, sun in the afternoon, and watching very carefully that opportunity for rain Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday, we'll likely see some rain, but again, as I mentioned, still unclear if it'll be a lot of rain or just a little bit of rain. But by Thursday, we should have a much better handle on what's headed our way.
I am going to... Sports Desk is brought to you by Three Rivers Casino Resort.
The position that has the most question marks around it regarding Oregon football is no doubt at wide receiver. The depth chart took a hit Tuesday when Mario Cristobal announced veteran wideout Brendan Schooler is out with an injury. Cristobal telling the media after practice that the senior underwent a procedure to repair the foot, but it's not enough to keep Schooler off the field for 6 to 8 weeks, meaning Schooler won't feature in any of the Ducks' 3 non-conference games to start the year. Cristobal says Schooler's presence on and off the field has been a vital part of this team.
The thing about Brendan, he's not only a great player, he's a great leader, and feel terrible for him because we all do, because tremendous human being, off the charts. It means a lot to the guys out there, and knowing him, he's probably trying to squat and run today, but he will try to get back as fast as he can. He will, because he's that type of guy, but you know, he'll be around because his leadership is going to be needed. His mentorship in that room will be needed, but certainly it's a tough one to take because of what he means to this team.
With Schooler down, junior receiver Johnny Johnson III worked with the first team on Tuesday. The Sporting News published a list on Tuesday called the Bittersweet 16, ranking the worst Power 5 college football teams in the country. Beaver fans, you will not want to open the article because it has Oregon State at #1 on the list. And while wins might be hard to come by for Jonathan Smith's team in 2019, rushing yards certainly won't. The Beavers have one of the top rushing attacks in the Pac-12, with Jermar Jefferson hoping to improve on his freshman All-American season, and Artavis Pierce ready to make the most of his senior season. With redshirt sophomore B.J. Baylor also one to keep an eye on, new running backs coach Michael Petrie says his job is to just figure out where everyone fits.
What I'm asking those guys to do in the room, and Coach Linger's asking those guys to do, is learn the entire offense. The more that you know within the offense, the more that we can line guys up in a few different spots and be able to utilize their talents, because I think they all complement each other in terms of their game. You know, obviously AP has great speed. Jamar's a physical back. BJ's a guy that has displayed great vision and ability to make some big plays, and so I think they all complement each other really, really well, and so that's been awesome to see thus far through 5 practices.
The Beavers hold their first scrimmage August 17th, part of Family Fun Day at Reser Stadium. Staying with the Beavers, a familiar name to OSU fans is rejoining the baseball team. Joey Wong making his way back to Corvallis, joining Mitch Canham's staff as an undergrad assistant for the Beavs. Wong played 3 seasons at Oregon State from 2007 to 2009, winning a national championship in 2007. He spent his pro career in the minors from 2009 to 2018, spending this season in the Independent League with the St. Paul Saints. Eugene Emeralds infielder Pedro Martinez has been named the Chicago Cubs Minor League Player of the Month. Martinez and the Emeralds enjoying a few days off for the All-Star break before games resume Thursday. A few of the Emeralds were up in Boise on Tuesday as part of the Pioneer League versus Northwest League All-Star game. Eugene native Kellen Strom also appearing in the game for the Spokane Indians. Strom starting in right field, going 0 for 2 of the run. Second baseman Chase Strumpf also appearing in this one. Strumpf had a double and 2 RBI. The Pioneer League would defeat the Northwest League 11-7. Emeralds back in action at Boise beginning Thursday. That's it for sports. More news after the break.
Cascade Dermatology cares about your skin. Here in
that was abandoned by his parents has found a new home with a farming couple in Poland. His new caretakers named him Piatek. That's Polish for Friday, the day he was found. He is well cared for by the couple, whose names are Jan and Alicja. He gets to eat fish and can wander the couple's farm fields. Isn't that wonderful?
He probably loves dill pickles as well.
Dill pickles? I used to really believe that was how storks, or babies came about, was by storks.
You know, that could be true. Who knows? Well, maybe science can, explain it for us. I don't know.
Maybe.
We're going to keep it PG here. Yeah.
Thank you for watching NBC 16 News at 11. The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon is next.
So Josh, you going for our Drive Safe and Save discount?